nation, Yemen is in the grip of world's worst humanitarian crisis, as the United Nations has confirmed. And the recent decision by the last US administration, the administration of President Trump, to designate Yemen's Houthi rebels a terrorist organization is also fueling instability in the Middle East and makes a peaceful resolution of the conflict in Yemen even less likely. And let me say, I think in compared to the storm to the capital, I think this decision was more horrible than the thing in Washington. The intervention by the coalition, which includes not only Saudi Arabia, but also the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, Sudan, and Senegal, with the United States and the United Kingdom providing support for the military offensive, would not be possible without the plentiful supply of arms from Western countries. First and foremost, the US, France, and the UK, but also Germany. Also Germany. The West has entered into an alliance with Saudi Arabia, an Islamist dictatorship, which routinely carries out beheadings and the murderous Muslim brotherhoods like President Hadi. And it's absurd in one way that countries such as Germany and the United Kingdom are closing their eyes to this inhumane Islamist ideology of their partners in the Middle East, while claiming to be taking steps against the same ideology at home or in Afghanistan or somewhere else. Equipped with German, British, French, and American weapons, the military coalition of Salafists and Muslim Brothers targets its bombing raids against hospitals, schools, infrastructure in Yemen, and has killed thousands of civilians, as Andre Murray said. Since Saudi Arabia was first intervened in the civil war in Yemen in 2015, the G20 countries have exported weapons worth more than $31 billion to the Saudi-led coalition. And this is 5 times higher than G20 spending on humanitarian aid in Yemen, according to an Oxfam report published ahead of last year's G20 summit, which was hosted in Saudi Arabia. And in the following comments, I would like to focus particularly on Germany's role and on the lavish government-approved arms export by German defense companies to the coalition that is waging war in Yemen. In its coalition agreement in March 2018, the German government under Chancellor Angela Merkel and her foreign minister Heiko Maas committed to an embargo on arms export to all countries that are directly involved in the war in Yemen. Before that, many years, the arms exports of German government was critically commented by us, especially by us in the German parliament, and with the help of the peace movement in Germany all over the press. Whenever an arms export had happened to Riyadh, we made it public, and we caused a lot of trouble in Germany. And after the killing of the Saudi dissident Khashoggi in November 2018, they had to do this move, finally, the German government. And since then, the embargo on arms exports to Saudi Arabia has been extended several times. And in contrast to the situation in the UK, it will remain in place until the end of this year, 2021. However, the embargo is not what it seems for 2 reasons. First, the German government is still approving arms exports to other countries involved in the war in Yemen. Last year alone, the German government approved arms export valued at more than 1 billion euros that were destined for countries waging war in Yemen. Most of the export license for arms and other defense goods were issued for Egypt, which received German government-approved shipments of military equipment worth 752 million euros, followed by the Islamist Muslim Brotherhood in Qatar with 305 million euros, the Emirates with 51 million euros, and Kuwait and Turkey both with 23 million euros. Since 2015, since the Yemen war started officially, the German government has approved total arms exports worth more than 5.5 billion euros to members of this Saudi-led coalition in Yemen. And it's utterly irresponsible, of course, that the German government's arms embargo for Saudi Arabia does not apply to the Emirates or other countries involved in this Yemen war. The United Arab Emirates is just as much of a party of the conflict in Yemen, and together with Saudi Arabia, bears much of the responsibility for what is currently the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. And the second point is the arms exports embargo itself has loopholes. Although the German government halted direct arms shipments to Riyadh after the Saudi journalist Khashoggi was brutally murdered, it did not halt the lucrative exports by German defense company and their subsidiary companies in other countries, nor did it stop shipments of components via joint European projects like Eurofighter or the Tornadoes. Germany's biggest arms manufacturer, Rheinmetall, for example, is continuing to ship defense goods to Saudi Arabia via its subsidiaries in Italy and South Africa, thereby circumventing the German export embargo, the general embargo. And the German government even approved 2 shipments from France to Saudi Arabia the year before, 2019. And this military equipment was valued at 4.8 million euros and was produced. So they produce it in Germany, but it goes to other countries. And in 2020, last year, Germany rubber-stamped a similar shipment from South Korea. In 2019 and 2020, the German government approved the shipment of parts for Eurofighter and Tornado military aircraft to Saudi Arabia under 3 collective export licenses. And by supplying arms on such a colossal scale to the Saudi-led coalition, the German government is not only breaching its own coalition agreement from March 2018, it is also putting millions of lives at risk for the sake of domestic industry profits and geostrategic interests. My party, the Left Party, is therefore calling for the arms exports embargo to be extended to all the other countries that are members of this Saudi-led coalition, a ban on arms exports by foreign subsidiaries of German defense companies and on shipments of parts of components within the framework of joint European projects is also long overdue. And in the longer term, of course, we are working for a general ban on arms export and for a broad-scale conversion program for the defense industry. And I mean, at latest with the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen we have to produce for life and not for the death. And I'm looking forward, especially in the discussion, to tell you from our examples and our experiences working with peace movements, parties, organizations in South Africa and in Italy, where, for example, the German company Rheinmetall has their subsidiary companies which are delivering weapons, still delivering weapons to Saudi Arabia for this war in Yemen, or with our colleagues in Italy in the parliament, where we worked for the general ban on arms exports in Italy as well. So I think we really have to, I mean, I would look forward to work better together with you, the British ones, because the joint experts like Eurofighter or Tornadoes, working together, the UK government, French and the German. I think the peace loving people should work